Yeah, Jason Roy, they play with a certain amount of freedom. So to have Sheldon Cottrell back playing his first T20 international since I think the Australia series last year, usually he's a guy that can get early wickets for you at his very best. And we all know how valuable good left-arm seamers are in this format.
Yeah, looking at the England group, England have brought 3-4 left-arm options with them, all different options with them, but I agree, Cottrell, wicket-taker. He is a wicket-taking option, which I think in 2020 cricket against England, I think if you've got a wicket-taking option, you've got to get them out first. It's a little bit of a gamble, a bit of a cat-and-mouse game. But I think if you can knock over, when England are normally were Buttler and Roy, if you can knock over Buttler or Roy inside the first 2 overs, then all of a sudden you've got, the game becomes a lot easier. Roy and Buttler especially, they're phenomenal in the first 3 to 5 overs.
And with that stop, I should remind our viewers or let our viewers know the 2 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle are at fine leg and deep forward square. Right of your screen in the shaded area down there, top right. So Cottrell can't give too much room outside the off stump. Looking for that swing back into Roy. Nicholas Puran with a rabbit's tail on his shirt collar.
Which is a big surprise, Bish, when you look at the field, because Jason Roy is more of an offside dominant play, somebody that likes to give himself some room. Not a great deal of foot movement, and he'll look to hit the ball through sort of cover point over extra cover. He's got this big shot that goes over the top of extra cover. So, having a man at deep square leg and at fine leg, Cottrell can't even get on off stump. It's got to be middling off. If it's anything near off stump, Jason Roy will give himself some room and open up that offside.
First boundary of the contest. It looks as though it's gone all the way for 6. Typical of Jason Roy.
Yeah, fantastic shot there by Roy. Comes down the wicket. Cottrell, I think, sees him coming. Tries to drag his length back a little bit, but not enough. Again, as we see here, he's looking to give himself some room on the leg side, but because he was tucked up a little bit, able to get his hands free. It was a fantastic shot there by Jason Roy.
Key to see where the West Indies go to spin. Got him! That early wicket, and that salute customary for Sheldon Cottrell. So often he gets that early wicket.
A little bit of shape back there from Jason Roy. He's coming down the wicket, didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball. We see that fantastic celebration there by Cottrell. He's just brought it back just enough onto that middle stump, whether Jason Roy has not quite seen it because it was full. We've seen the expression there. 6 and out for Roy. The first over, England batsman goes 6 for 1.
James Vince replaces Jason Roy. Jason Holder with the new ball should know these conditions. They don't go to spin. Sometimes they'll go to Akeal Hossain with the plethora of right-handers at the top of the order so far. Moeen Ali has, for teams he's played for, used as a floater, sometimes at 3. Can Holder find some swing? Little bit of shape from back of the length.
A little bit of shape, but bounce, Bish, bounce. That's what you see from Jason Holder. As we see there, swing, big swing on Jason Roy, and the celebration. That's brilliant, fantastic. See there, the swing, the seam position coming back towards that middle stump. enjoy the celebration after being hit for 6 the ball before.
A little bit of shape there again. Tom Banton, his breakout year, of course, for many who know him, was in 2019. But his form has tailed away a little bit since then. He travels around the world playing a lot of white ball cricket.
Yeah, he does, and he had a good start, you say, in 2019, and then I think people started to find him out. And you're very leg side dominant. That's why the fielder is man out in on the square leg boundary. But he's got to be watchful. You know, the way that Jason Holder, not great pace, but swing and bounce. And on this sort of surface, I think you just give yourself a little bit more time to get in, because it does look a decent surface. But if the ball does bounce like what Jason Holder, you know, coming from the trajectory he's coming from, being able to hit through the line of the ball, it'll just be that little bit more difficult. So he's going to have to just wait and bide his time and, you know, get used to this surface.
Third man came up and a deep point has been pushed back. So deep square and deep point. It's very well played, because there was a little bit of swing. Banton negated much of it with the use of the feet.
Yeah, good shot by Tom Banton. Control, he looked as though he was in total control there. Comes down the wicket. Nice shape, but I think because of the pace that's not on the ball from Holder, you know, he got himself in a position to be set before he actually hit the ball. The difference between that and Jason Roy was Jason was still on the move when Sheldon Cottrell, the ball went past him.
Has he got it? Has he held on? Yes, he has. It's that outswing again. Brilliant catch in the end after a fumble by Nicholas Pooran.
West Indies will take this every time. You can hit a boundary and we will get your wicket. Fantastic catch there by Nicholas Pooran. Good shape by Jason Holder. A beauty, an absolute beauty. Test match length, test match line. Slip fielder in 2020 cricket. That normally happens in a test match. Takes a catch beautifully. England are a bit of trouble here. Banton goes for 4. England 10 for 2.
The ever skillful and ever talented Moeen Ali. Someone who can float in the order. A good spin hitter. Not that he's bad against seam and pace. Teams sometimes go short at him. Jason Holder's finding swing on his home territory. Gone too! Brilliant from Jason Holder. You do not hit it in the air to Fabian Allen. He doesn't miss much.
What a start this is for the West Indies. Catches held beautifully there, a little bit of shape. Didn't come back quite as much as Moeen Ali thought it was going to. His hands away from his body, didn't go through the shot, just really guided it towards backward point, or, you know, just wide of gully. Great catch by Fabian Allen and Jason Holder. Was he going to play at the start of the game? Was he not? Well, justifies his selection. Moeen Ali goes first ball, and England are in trouble now, 10 for 3.
There's a bit this way in the middle. That's middle.
England's captain comes to the crease to greet the first time England have lost 3 wickets in the first 2 overs of a T20 international innings.
Yeah, and this is the man that England need to come in. The man that's cool, that's calm, and he's collective. And he said at the toss, he wanted to put score on the board. England aren't used to doing this, and it's something of a learning that these young players are going to have to. But two relatively experienced players at the crease now. Played a lot of T20 cricket in Vince and in Morgan. Not as much international from Vince, but he's played a lot of domestic T20 franchise cricket around the world. And Morgan, I think this is when Morgan's at his best, when he goes in back against the wall. When you see the calmness of Morgan, you understand why the good leadership that he gives is normally because when his back's against the wall, he delivers.
Holder found that swing after being struck for 4. He stuck to his line, and we've seen that test match length and line work so well in the last World Cup. And then an indeterminate push from Moeen Ali. Morgan didn't have a great 2021 with the bat. Average 17 across the year. It's really good from Sheldon Cottrell and Jason Holder.
It is. It's a fantastic line from Cottrell. He's got the swing beautifully. Sometimes when it is swinging, as a bowler, you can just, if you don't quite get the line right, then you open both sides of the field up. So you look at that scorecard. England 2020 side has not been in this position for a number of years now. It's a fantastic start here by the West Indies.
We talked about the value of the left-arm seamer, a good left-arm seamer anyway. And England know all too well, when they won the T20 World Cup out here, they had Ryan Sidebottom, who was an impact bowler in that series for them. That's water under the bridge. But across T20s now, because of the odd angle of the left-arm seamer, is value for money. Again,
yeah, 100% again. And I think when Ryan was in that side, it was a fantastic side with runs on the board. And again, you look at, you see here, that one hasn't really come back. James Vince not moving his feet that well, hasn't really come back. And that's the beauty, the natural variation of a left-arm seamer. He swung it beautifully back onto off stump and cramped Jason Roy. And then when he doesn't quite get it back to swing, it just goes on over past off stump.
There's a couple of grass patches there that the ball is a little too paced on. 10 for 3. Hat-trick ball for Jason Holder. Third man and deep fine leg. Puran catching at slip. No hat-trick, but he goes past the bat. Nicholas Puran is mic'd up for us out there. Nicholas, I'm trusting you can hear us.
I'm hearing you guys.
All right, that catch, talk me through it.
I was lucky there, yeah. It bounced up in my hand and I just grabbed it.
How often have you been in that slip position in recent times?
I've been in slip, but just no catches. Today, luckily that one stuck, so thankful for it. Ooh.
Good start for the guys, Nicholas. There's a bit happening.
Yeah. Say that again?
Good start. The ball is doing something. You still there, Nicholas? Finger goes up. Morgan reviews it straight away.
Yeah, that gives you a good clue when he reviews it straight
Copy,
away.
Joel. Review, caught behind. Review, caught behind. Copy, Joel. Third umpire to television director. We have a player review for caught behind. The original decision is out. I've already checked and established it's a fair delivery. Can you move on to front on spin vision, please? Yeah, the ball is quite close to the bat. I'm going to need ultra edge to confirm if there's any bat involved. Ultra edge coming up. There's a flat line as the ball passes the bat. There's a gap between bat and ball. I'm satisfied and ready to go back on field to Joel. Joel, I'm going to have to ask you to overturn your decision to not out. You're on screen. You can signal now.
And Joel Wilson has to overturn his decision, initial decision of out. Great use of technology. Interesting way for Morgan to try to put pressure back on hold.
Yeah, it looks as though Morgan's going to go with the bounce. He's going to try and use the bounce, come leg side of it and open up that offside and try and hit these horizontal bat shots that Owen Morgan does hit well. The excitement of the occasion might have just got to Joel Wilson there. He give it straight away. There was a noise. I'm not sure if it was a little scratch of the studs on the surface here in Barbados, but you know, everything's happening here. It's all happening, and West Indies are on top of England.
Very good. He just gets that bounce, and Steve, you would know enough of that, and you've had success across the world and out here in the Caribbean. It's not great pace from Holder. It's a bit of swing and just a little bit of bounce and an excellent length.
It's a fantastic length because it's very difficult to, from a batsman's point of view, to judge whether you go forward or back. And the one thing about Jason Holder, even in Test matches, he bowls that little bit fuller length, and a bit like Rolly Robinson in England. He bowls from a tall height. He bowls that fuller length, which batsmen can't really come, and that means you can't really hit through the line of the ball.
And there we go again, and Pollard had another slip-in Bravo put in. Just to let you know, we've dispensed with Nicholas Puran's chat because of some technical difficulties.
But the bouncing ball from a batsman, how he plays that. We've seen at some points in Australia when Cameron Green was bowling to Ben Stokes, he decided that he was going to sit right back on his stumps and try and go with the bounce and go up. And that's what Morgan might be thinking here. I'm going to go up. That's why they've got third man down.
That is a top-class over. The maiden, 10 for 3. Lots of energy here at Kensington Oval, all sorts of stats coming out. Gets past fine leg. A rousing cheer from the English supporters.
A welcome boundary from England and a welcome boundary for James Vince. Just a little bit too short there from Sheldon Cottrell, and James Vince just helped it on its way, used the pace of the ball around down towards fine leg, and fine leg couldn't quite. It was a good dive down at fine leg, but couldn't quite get there.
4 more. Even though it's the first time England have faced 2 maidens in the power play and they've lost 3 wickets, Vince is on the attack.
And no swing here for Sheldon Cottrell. He's gone that little bit fuller, tried to get it to swing. You can see the seam position looking towards coming back onto off stump, but it's just gone on with the hand, skidded off the surface, and a player of Vince's caliber will always put that away for 4.
Shift in the field, fine leg has come up, so the 2 deep fielders are now deep backward square and mid wicket. He still has to bowl straight. Lucky to get away with a wide half volley.
Yeah, very much so. It was a wide half volley that James Vince will be thinking, right, after what he's watching from the non-strikers end, Jason Holder bowling to get a half volley, not being able to put away. They'll be disappointed at that. But Cottrell and Holder have got England where they want them. They've bowled very, very well so far. The last thing they want is just to release in the last 2 overs of the power play and let England get some cheap boundaries.
Wonder where Pollard goes next. Does he give Jason Holder another one? I would certainly lean towards giving him another one. He's got Odain Smith. He's got Romario Shepherd at his disposal. The ball is bouncing. Talk about if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, what the percentages of the chances are that you lose the game. It's only a percentage, mind you. That's gone for 6. This is some riposte from James Vince.
Yeah, it was a good ball by Sheldon Cottrell. If he had his fine leg in place, his fine leg would have been nowhere near it, but it was a good bouncer, well directed, right at James Vince's left ear, but he's top edged it and it just carried on going. This has gone miles. This has gone a long way into the stands here at the Kensington Oval. Not quite in full control, but with fine leg inside the circle. Just needs to help it around the corner and up and away.
Great to have the crowd, great to have international cricket here again in more relaxed circumstances in Barbados. The players are not in a tight, restricted bubble. It's a managed facility. Everyone coming into the ground has been tested. I've never witnessed that before. It's a lot of work going on outside this wonderful facility to ensure everyone is safe coming in. Got him! Oh my goodness! After taking 14 off the over, Vince will be kicking himself, giving that up.
Kicking himself. Oh no, wow, what have you done, James Vince? Again, we have 6 and out. Top edge 6 into the top tier of the stand, down at fine leg, and he gets a rank long hop. And he's hit it cross-bat, horizontal style, straight at extra cover. Wow, good catch by Darren Bravo. Disappointing end for James Vince. Sheldon Cottrell celebrates like he usually does. Exuberation, fantastic celebration he's got. Vince has got to go. 14 off 12, England 24 for 4.
Not Sam Billings, the new man. Oh, a bit of indifferent bounce. We've seen the ball fly through to the wicket-keeper, Shea Hope. But that one scuttled through under the bat of Owen Morgan. And this has landed in the hands of Darren Bravo. West Indies have caught everything. England have hit plenty of balls in the air. West Indies bowling has been absolutely superb in this power play. 24 for 4. No! There's that steepling bounce from Jason Holder. And here is the wreckage that is England's batting card. West Indies won the toss and inserted the visitors. Jason Roy towering 6 in the very first over before he was knocked over by a full toss from Sheldon Cottrell, and things have just gone from bad to worse from England since then. It's been boundaries and wickets. Oh, there was a second slip. There was a second slip, and had there still been one, the England captain would have been on his way back as well. Kemar Roach, what do you make of it all?
Good afternoon, Butch. Good afternoon, viewers. This has been a very interesting 5 overs to start, but it's good to see Jason Holder producing the goods, starting well, and he found himself 2 wickets. Could be a possible 3rd, but he's been going pretty fantastic.
Sam Billings, who's made the extraordinary journey from Hobart to crossing several time zones to get himself here in the West Indies, makes a final 11, which is a real credit to him and his fitness. I was covering those Ashes matches from the UK, and the jet lag that I've suffered from going from Australian time to West Indies time has nearly killed me. And yet he's out there batting at number 6 for England, and with a job on his hands. Wow. Now, we did the pitch report. You didn't tell me it was going to fly through like this.
It's definitely surprised me. But with the towering figure of Jason Holder, standing at 6'5", 6'6", he will always get that bounce. And you can see it on show right now.
Yeah, crowds in, I think around about 50% are allowed in, given the restrictions due to COVID. Quite a large percentage of those will be English and UK fans. Questionable attire, but enjoying themselves nonetheless. Would not have expected to see this from the ranked #1 side in the world, England. It seems whether it's Ashes cricket or T20 cricket, England losing plenty of wickets. 26 for 4, and that's the end of the power play. Gregory Brathwaite just signalling the end of the power play, and what a power play it has been for Kieran Pollard's men. Keel Hussain, who has at times taken the new ball for the West Indies, has been more than content to take his place in the field and wait his turn. Wait for the fielding restrictions to be relaxed and come on with England in all kinds of trouble. Perfect time for a spinner to come on when the opposition is 4 down.
Definitely agree, Butch. He's been having a fantastic time with the white ball last year, so it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
Billings very quick on his feet against the spinners. It's an interesting squad the West Indies has at the moment. There's only 2 players in the entire squad to pick from who are aged 25 and lower. One of them is Dominic Drakes, who didn't make the final 11, and the other is Odin Smith, who's just 25. So you've got a lot of players with not a great deal of experience, but they're not young players either.
I've had the pleasure, obviously, to be playing with Dominic Drakes. Huge talent, huge talent. He's also the son of Vasper Drakes, former West Indies and Barbados fast bowler, all-rounder, we can say. For the few runs, he'll probably be arguing with me later for calling him only a fast bowler. He has a couple hundreds for Barbados as well.
Yeah, sparred with Vasper. He had time at Sussex and Nottinghamshire. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The West Indies are going through this transition period. There aren't a great deal of very young players in that squad. They're all sort of experienced domestically, but not so much internationally.
That's correct. That's correct. Obviously, Pollard being a leader, towering figure with a lot of international and franchise games. So obviously he carries the most experience in the team.
Just spin there for Hussein. I figured that there might be a little bit of turn on offer. The surface of this pitch is a little crumbly. Certainly weren't expecting all that bounce and carry from the quicks though.
Nothing, Polly.
And a bit reading in the on the wires about sort of West Indies and the transition, and there's been one or two rumblings about the lack of quality young batters coming through. Would you? I suppose you wouldn't agree with that. You get them out. They must be the best players in the world, right?
Well, yes, obviously I'm still active in the cricket in the Caribbean, so I've seen the talent we have, and I must say, yes, we're a little bit low in the bank, but there's some guys there that I think once we give them a chance and put some work into them, they'll come out to be pretty good international cricketers. So it's all about opportunity and exposure, and hopefully in the coming years we can get more of that.
Got him. Twinkle toes from Billings, but he dances straight past that one. And Hussein is now in on the act. Wow, West Indies all over England.
Yeah, Aki has been having a fantastic time with the white ball. It's amazing the cricket he's been playing. He's been bowling well. He's added some stuff to his game, a lot more variation, and it's showing. So Sam Billings, 1 for 2, are facing 4 balls. West Indies. England, 29 for 5.
Well, Liam Dawson has been starved of international appearances. He's a World Cup winner with England, but has not managed to find his way into a playing 11 for quite some time now. And gets his opportunity today in this new look England lineup. And well, might not have expected to have 13 overs or so to get himself in. Romario Shepherd into the attack.
Starts with a wide. Romario Shepherd, pretty young into international cricket as well. But stumping there, fantastic. Good hands from Shea Hope. And Aki gets his first.
Beautifully bowled, wasn't it? I wonder if he spotted Sam Billings coming, or just got a feeling or a signal from somewhere. Good hands from Shea Hope. This will all be making Phil Simmons feel a bit better about life. I've just had a 3-0 reversal against Pakistan. A lot of criticism about their cricket in the recent T20 World Cup. And he and the rest of the Caribbean needed some good news from their team, and they are getting it.
Yes, definitely. He'd be very pleased with the start that West Indies have produced so far. I'm sure this is what he talked about in the team meeting this morning or last night. But it's a very steady start here from Shepherd as well. I think it's easy to come in and bowl when his score is 32 for 5. So they'll be interested in see what he produces now in his spell.
Well, inscrutable behind those glasses, Karen Pollard. He must be dancing a little jig of delight behind them at the moment with the way things are going. In the 8th over, and he's still got a slip in. Well, if you're just joining us, West Indies won the toss, inserted England. Jason Roy hit the 5th ball for 6 and then had his middle stump knocked over by the Sergeant Cottrell. Tom Banton struck a beautiful boundary before he nicked a beautiful outswinger. Moeen Ali came and went. First ball duck for him. Brilliant catch from Allen. More excellent bowling from Holder. And you thought, well, it couldn't possibly get any worse for England. James Vince sparkled briefly and then hit what can only be described as a bit of a pie. Straight to cover. Sam Billings ran past one. That turned and bounced.
As you can see here, Morgan is training. Obviously, weather the storm. The West Indies storm. Next centre back is Chris Jordan, average of 14. Adil Rashid, and also Mahmood. So not much batting left, but I'm sure this partnership it means a lot to the English.
Yeah, Adil Rashid has double figures in terms of first-class hundreds, so he can bat. Chris Jordan, there was a time when he perhaps thought he might be able to become a genuine all-rounder. So he knows how to handle the bat, but at the moment, a lot of work to be done for this partnership. Just 5 from 7 deliveries between Morgan and Dawson. West Indies bowling, fielding, catching has been excellent. 34 for 5. Well, England fans look away now. Another collapse, this time on the other side of the world from their T20 team. Brilliant from the West Indies, though.
As they continue to pile on the pressure here, Akil into his second over, only costing him 3 runs so far. I'm really interested to see how the second half of this innings goes.
Pollard gets that huge frame down on the ground, leading by example. Morgan's just going to have to set his stall out to bat as many overs as he possibly can from here.
Nice skill.
39 dots now. And 51 deliveries. It's not what they were expecting. I suppose the lesson for the England lineup, maybe for Jason Roy, is don't waste all your runs in the warm-up games, huh? 36 ball 100 just 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, I heard it was swashbuckling. I'm sure the English will love that right now, but they're up against it. Let's see how they weather the storm, as I said.
Turn and bounce, quicker delivery from Hussain. Dawson's a real scrapper. I've seen a great deal of him at international level. Cricket fans from around the world, but he is a good cricket brain. almost single-handedly dragged Hampshire into the Blast finals last summer in the UK. 35 for 5. Well, for the wickets, it's a little bit like an international dialing code and telephone number. Certainly been no partnerships to speak of for England. Relentless pressure from the West Indies. And then we have Odean Smith. A lot of chat about this young fella. All action, all rounder, big, strong man, generates a bit of pace, not particularly tall.
Yeah, strong figure in Odean Smith. I remember playing a game against him a couple of years ago, and bowl's a very strong ball, very, very strong ball, and gives it a whack as well. So it's good to see him also in the T20 side as going forward for the future.
In the air, but a full short, the man on the cover boundary. Let's have a look here at the lengths of the deliveries that have taken wickets today. There's been plenty in that good length area, and that was a lot down to Jason Holder. But the wickets themselves of short balls, you had the full toss that knocked over Jason Roy's middle stump. The real eye-opening thing has been the bounce. There's another delivery that's almost hit the handle of Owen Morgan's bat. Really flown, hasn't it, from the middle of the pitch? You wouldn't mind bowling on this one yourself?
Most definitely. I always enjoy playing at home, Kensington Oval, coming from the Joe Garner end. But right now, Odean Smith is coming from the Malcolm Marsh end.
Cut away, it won't make it to the boundary. Yeah, Kensington Oval, a home for you. You're also one of Surrey's finest, aren't you? Don't mind the Oval in South London either, do you?
I love it there. Yes, Surrey. I've had a fantastic stint with Surrey last year. Fantastic organization. The director of cricket, Mr. Stewart.
Does he make you call him Mr. Stewart? Does he, or is that?
He's very relaxed. I've called him Gaffer. He's okay with that. But yes, fantastic environment, fantastic system. I really relished my time there, and obviously my performances showed.
Well, I believe they enjoyed having it. Wide again, just a bit of width in that over from Odean Smith, but no real harm done. Just the 4 runs from the 10th over. England at the halfway point. They're in all kinds of bother. 39 for 5, and it's time for the players to have a well-earned drink.
Wickets have fallen early. 29 for 5 at one stage, now 39 for 5. Wicket in the first over to Sheldon Cottrell, 2 in the second over, bowled by Jason Holder. Steve Harmison alongside me. If you missed any of the early action, have a look at those wickets.
Yeah, swing by Sheldon Cottrell. He's been hit for 6 ball before. Jason Roy comes out of his crease and he gets him, and that is a test match length with a test match field. Slip in place. Bit lazy there from Marwan Ali, not quite over the top of the ball. And a rank long hop after being hit for 6 the ball before, and Sheldon Cottrell, fantastic celebration. Brilliant bowling here by Akil Hussain. Not sure that was stumped, Bish. I think that was run out. I think Sam Billings managed to get himself run out there. He was that far down the crease, but Cottrell and Holder especially, fantastic lines, fantastic lengths, especially at the England captain. Didn't give him an inch at all.
Halfway mark of the innings after England were put into bat. Captain is still there. Dawson has some pedigree with the bat. 10 first-class hundreds, 3 list A centuries.
Oh yeah. Get back.
Could be trouble, could be trouble. It's trouble. The worst possible outcome after the resumption from the water break for England, that is.
For England, it's suicidal for England. What is Liam Dawson trying here? He's hit the ball straight to Kieran Pollard. A little bit in there, yes, no, with his captain. And he's managed to slip as well. Everything that possibly could go wrong has gone wrong for England. Liam Dawson wanted a single. Nowhere near on, I don't think. And the West Indies captain had plenty of time just to ease the ball back to Shai Hope and knock the stumps out of the ground. Liam Dawson's gone for 2. And England, all sorts of trouble at 39 for 6.
That's middle.
Familiar with these conditions, Chris Jordan? Of course, Jordan, with his history of being born here and lived here for some time before emigrating to the UK. But Hussain bowls a great length, that 5.5 meter length, at his best hard to get to.
Oh yes, Kilo, yes, Kilo.
And it's not just the length, Bish. I think it's the drift that he gets with it. Because he gets a lot of revolutions on it, he drifts it in towards the batsman, the right-handed batsman, which done for Sam Billings. So he felt as though he could come down. And then when he turned his wrists on it, all of a sudden it got a little bit of a sharp spin and just bamboozled the England batsman.
And Jordan off the mark. Yeah, all of that. And he bowls a lovely arm ball. Akil Hussain. But that length at pace, and he's one of those finger spinners who actually, if there's any grip in the surface, he gets the ball to deviate. Now, how does Morgan look to go at him?
Catch him!
It's perhaps Morgan's favorite bowling type, left arm spin if he wants to attack.
Yeah, I was surprised when Akil Hussain came on to bowl because I thought Sheldon Cottrell, I would have given him another over. I didn't see the point of keeping him for 1 over. I thought they'd give the England captain a chance to come in and get himself going, milking the ball down the ground, playing his sweeps and reverse sweeps and getting some confidence back, because Jason Holder had him in, he had his number, he had him all ends up here from the commentary box end. So, but he's bowled beautifully, he's bowled nicely, he's bowled good into length, his pace has been good, his drift's been nice, and he's turned the ball.
Yeah, but the last year in international cricket, Hussain came into the team in Bangladesh early in 2021. and is making his way. Spoke beautifully today in his interview, I think, with Mark Butcher. There's that length again, that hard, heavy length. 41 for 6. Still Adil Rashid Mahmood, who was playing in the Big Bash League up until recently. Timal Mills, good to have him fit again. Shepherd. Found the gap. Brandon King eventually retrieves it.
Yeah, good shot there by Owen Morgan. Not quite getting the shape back there from Shepherd. He's trying to get the ball back into off stump, but he hasn't. Whether the ball's just getting that little bit older now, it's not. The shape's not there. Owen Morgan, nice hit down the ground, but it didn't go for 4. The surface. The ball just seems to be sitting in this surface. Doesn't seem as though the batsman can really feel true that he can hit through the line of the ball, and you know, the nice, the lovely bouncy surfaces when 2020 should be played on, where you can get at the ball as a batsman. You feel as though you can get your hands through the ball. It hits the middle of the bat, it goes for 4. Doesn't seem to be that surface here. So the score at the end, if England can get to 120, it might not be a bad score for England to defend.
Hit that well enough. All the way for 6. So Morgan on the counter attack.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of experience here, Bish. I think he's seen the ball before, has gone a little bit wider. He's thinking Shepherd might just go that little bit fuller, go that little bit floatier and fuller. The momentum coming into the ball from Owen Morgan there. Manages to get enough on it to get it all the way over the rope, over extra cover for 6. Good shot by the England captain. Pressure on the bowler.
How often have we seen it? Boundary, then wicket. Shepherd holding his character, holding his poise. Easy for Pollard.
Fantastic bit of bowling by Shepherd here. He's just run his fingers across the seam. A lovely off-cutter. England captain again giving himself some room. Like I was saying before, I think the surface, it's just sitting in, and he's managed to just help it on its way into the captain of the West Indies' hands at extra cover. Owen Morgan goes for 17, and England all sorts of trouble. 49 for 7.
Adil Rashid understands batting. Don't expect the stats to stand out this low down in the order in T20 cricket, but a strong first-class record. Shepherd has often talked about the way he operates tactically. In that when he feels, and I agree with him, when he feels a batsman's coming hard at him, he was struck for 6, he will take pace off the ball. Because he knows Morgan is going to come at him again.
Yeah, and he did it beautifully, and the length of this pitch was very, very good. Took the pace off it, but the length it wasn't quite get to there for Owen Morgan, go at it, and then all of a sudden, because he's not quite there, he's just helped it into Karen Pollard's hands at extra cover. Fantastic bit of bowling there by the young man.
Another successful over. 49 for 7.
Let's wait on them, lads. Come on. Come on, kill it. That's the middle.
Well, England bowled out the West Indies for 55 in the World Cup. The last time England were out, I think in St Kitts in 2019, they bowled out the West Indies for 45, I think. So West Indies trying to get some of their own back. There's that length. You can't get to him when it's gripping and it's at pace and spinning.
And it's the spinning bit that does it. You see there, it's just drifting back towards sort of middle stump. So that's why Chris Jordan's just turned the face of his bat. And when it's drifting back towards the batsman and then spinning sharp, that's what makes it very, very difficult for the batsman.
He's hit that well enough. All the way for 6. And so far the trend has been boundary then wicket. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's normally been 6 and out. We've had 3 6 and out so far. Jason Roy, James Vince, Owen Morgan, Chris Jordan there. Just throwing it up that little bit more. As Akil is saying, it's in the arc for Chris Jordan. And anything above the eye line, for especially as a lower order batsman, striking capabilities of Chris Jordan. I think that was a little bit of a free hit. This is in the slot. Just chucked it up a little bit further above the eye line, and it's been hit straight into the stand where the England supporters are. Gives them something, little bit of something to cheer about, because there hasn't been much so far in the 12.2 overs from an England point of view. West Indies, though, been absolutely fantastic.
Ball's been sanitized by the umpire. Into the gap. Was fascinated to revisit Chris Jordan's story of his first meeting with Jofra Archer right here in Barbados at Queen's Park. He said he came over back from the UK and he was having a net Shea Hope was keeping, and this little fellow ran up and gave him one of the quickest bounces he'd ever faced, and Shea Hope just ran up to him and said, "Mate, be careful, this guy's quick." And a friendship that has taken off since then with Jordan and Archer. Jofra has been here practicing with the England team.
And how good is that to see, not just for the England team, but I think for world cricket, Bish. I think when you see a fantastic fast bowler at work, I think it's so good for the game. It is really, really good for the game. The Ashes wasn't very good for England, but you had to be in awe of the way the Australian bowlers bowled on the surfaces. Yeah, no matter what nationality you are. So to see Jofra back out there and back going is great for England, great for world cricket. And the friendship that he has with Chris Jordan, I think that helps. I think that helped integrate him into that one-day side when he came in, when he first came over to England and to that one-day side. And I think a little bit of luck for Jofra Archer and get him back on the park. And he's got the world at his feet, that kid. He really has.
Ten off the over, 59 for 7.
That's overboard.
Next game here tomorrow at Kensington Oval. What can England get to in this first Betway T20 International, with 4 more to follow in the ensuing days in the month of January? Only fully vaccinated fans allowed entry. At least 10 first-class hundreds, I think, for Adil Rashid. Hayden Walsh Jr. is at point, substitute fielder.
You mentioned the 10 first-class hundreds, Bish. Yes, Adil Rashid can bat. He's a very, very competent batsman. Doesn't bat half as much as he probably should do, probably because of one, you know, the side that he plays in, and two, I'm not sure he now really fancies batting as much as what he used to do. But I played with Adil briefly when I went to Yorkshire and played against quite a bit of a young Adil Rashid. And he used to bat number 6 for Yorkshire, 6 and 7, and he was a genuine all-rounder. He was a proper batsman.
Good sound, lovely sound for Chris Jordan.
And this is a drag down by Shepherd, and Jordan has smashed this straight off the scoreboard. What a hit this is. The sound, you're right, Bish, what a beautiful sound this was off the bat. Fantastic strike by Chris Jordan. Managed to get middle of the bat. Bounces off the scoreboard. 6 runs.
Intrigued to see how Shepherd responds now. We've talked about, he bowls a lot of cross seam as well. You could see him holding cross seam there. We talked about pace off the ball if guys go hard. I think it might have been, I'd like to see it again. Looks slightly slower.
Seemed to grip as well, so whether he has gone that cross seam and it's just deviated a touch, it looked as though it did just hold up off the surface.
Difficult. You'll say it was a drop chance, but it came back quickly.
Always difficult off your own bowling. Always difficult off your own bowling. And Chris Jordan has hit this. He has hit this hard. Done well to get anything on this, Shepherd. Oh, he's done brilliantly to get anything on that, to be fair. Mid-on is in the circle, and that's out. I think it might have gotten to Jason Holder. Jason Holder was down on the boundary for Jordan. He's in the circle now for Adil Rashid. 4 men inside the circle. Fine leg has just gone back. Kieran Pollard is pointing at fine leg to go back onto the boundary.
And just to return to Chris Jordan, obviously he went to school here as well in his younger days, and Jafra said something interesting after they won the World Cup. England won the World Cup in 2019. I think Jafra was saying he told Joe Root that if he ever made his test debut, he wanted Chris Jordan to present him his cap because of that friendship. And that's exactly how it worked out. That request was honored. More runs. 12 off the over, 71 now for 7. Last ball of the previous over. So a little counter punch of 22 in the partnership between Rashid and Jordan.
I think Shepherd put all his cards on the table there by putting fine leg back, telling Adil Rashid he was going to bowl the short ball. Couldn't quite get the one before, but managed to help the last ball of the over down to fine leg, and 4 welcome runs. 4 welcome runs for England, and Cottrell comes back into the attack. West Indian captain looking, knowing that this one wicket break this partnership, and that could be game over for England. But you make mention of Chris Jordan and that the Jofra Archer cap ceremony, and it was an emotional thing. It was a very emotional thing seeing your two close friends, not from England, from obviously Barbados, coming over, trying to forge a career and get basically make the better of themselves and give themselves a good life for themselves. And to see Chris give Jofra the cap, it was fantastic to see.
No wide given. No deep third man. No deep fine leg. So either side with pace on. And Jordan wants to know why Gregory Brathwaite didn't give that a wide. There is something in the pitch, and I suppose it'll be retained even under lights. So Jordan and Rashid and whoever's to come can just get through the overs at a clip. Get over that 100 mark. It does give you something to bowl at, as unlikely as defending that sort of total in T20s can be.
It's a funny game, Bish. You know, many times you think, well, we're 30 runs, 20, 30 runs short. Where the team comes out and they've got nothing to lose. You experiment. If you get a wicket early on, it just lifts you. I think if England were to get a couple of wickets early, because it's 95% of the crowd in here are from England, it might just lift them as well. So if they can get to 110, 120, not only would be a fantastic achievement, but it would be something for them to bowl at. I think that the lowest score that England have ever defended is 118. I think if they can get to 118 now, they will take it. But it gives them something to bowl at. They've got Tamal Mills, who has got a lot of pace when it comes to it. Skiddy trajectory of Saqib Mahmood, and we've seen a little bit of turn here. England have got 3 spinners at their disposal, so Owen Morgan will be hoping 100, 110, 120, and they'll still feel as though they're in the game.
And the West Indies have shown themselves to be a fragile batting unit, so there's still a lot working with here. And that's why Pollard will be hoping that one of his guys can get him another wicket and then another and look to bowl them out.
And I think that was the decision that Kieran Pollard has gone to Cottrell now. Got 1 over left, and I think he recognised that, you know what, this could be the partnership that finishes England off. If we can get Chris Jordan, or if we can get Adil Rashid, all of a sudden they've got, you know, bowlers in the hutch.
Tremendous. Another catch for one of the English spectators. Has a visit to the beach, 81 for 7.
A magnificent strike that is from Chris Jordan. Just the most beautiful swing of the bat. Not such good work out there on the beach. It's harder than it looks, huh? Well, the gamble to bring back Sheldon Cottrell to try and finish off this partnership didn't quite work out for Kieran Pollard. Everything else has today. And so, as many a captain has done before him, he's decided if you want a job doing, do it yourself. 81 for 7, 5 overs to go for England. Partnership is 32 from 20. You have to be quick here. Jordan is quick, mind.
And the clever Pollard has taken up the ball from the Malcolm Marshall end. I think in T20 cricket he's a little bit better than you think. He has this knack of getting the wicket when nothing seems to be going on, but a lot seems to be going on right now, so I would love him to just come in here and pull some tricks out of his sleeve and get West Indies another.
Don't need another run out. Just to let everybody know, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has worked with Cricket West Indies to check the vaccination status of everyone. So only fully vaccinated fans are allowed in the ground. Party stand fans need to have a negative test to enter the party stand, as well as that vaccination status, and there are tests available here at the ground. It's been quite an operation, but everybody, I think, got in time. One or two of the England fans were wishing they hadn't quite got in for the start, because the start has been disastrous for them, but pretty good for the West Indies.
Yes, fantastic. 15.3 overs, 83 for 7. It's all about finishing strong. Finishing strong here, limiting the opposition for, I would say, 110 the most. I think that's definitely under par, and we should bring it home.
Slow ball from Karen Pollard, although I guess these days most of the deliveries are slow and getting slower for the big man from Trinidad. It was interesting listening to Ian Bishop. It sounded like that sort of the experience of following the West Indies has maybe got to Big Bish a bit. He was hoping that it was only going to be 100 or 110, talking about how brittle West Indies batting lineup is. Surely you're confident of chasing whatever they get down from here.
Most definitely. I have full confidence behind the team, and I know there's a lot of talk about the batting and how it's been for the last couple of series and months, but I think there's enough quality out there to get over the line. Once we limit them to, let's say, 110, I'll say 120 the most.
So you think there's a chance for England then? 16 gone, 84 for 7. Oh, not too many tall towers, but plenty of circles. England losing 4 wickets in the power play. Six for 1, 10 for 2, 10 for 3, 24 for 4, 29 for 5. Partnership of 35 now for the 8th wicket between Jordan and Rashid. Fabian Allen into the attack. More pace off. Ball has gripped, hasn't it? Not only do we see it bounce and fly through for Holder and Cottrell with a new ball, but it's also assisted those spin bowlers a little.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. Not usual conditions here at the Oval. Usually assist the fast bowlers a lot more. But there have been some spin there on offer. And I thought Fabian, who's now started, good to see him back after missing the World Cup with injury.
In the air. And taken. He's broken that partnership. Sheldon Cottrell with the safe hands down there at long off. And just as some West Indian fans might have been getting a little concerned, that concern has been snuffed out.
Yes, fantastic there from Fabian. A little bit more air. And Jordan holds out to long off. Going for 28, facing 23 balls. And the score is 85 for 8.
England batters crossed, so Adil Rashid on strike. New man out there in the middle is Saqib Mahmood. Young quick bowler from Lancashire. Fledgling international career. Work to do with the bat. There's that spin again.
A lot of work to do with the bat. And not much time to do it.
Mahmood will keep the strike. 87 for 8. Yet more carnage in an England batting lineup. West Indies have been all over England.
And Pollard with all his tricks. Trying to close the innings out as best as he can, using some experience. I'm sure he's bowled in this situation a couple of times. He'll know what to do, where he'll want the batsman to hit the ball.
Oh, shot. Time that beautifully, Saqib Mahmood. Excellent work down there at long on. Saved the boundary. Our cricketers look very sharp. Keem up.
Yeah. A lush outfield. I thought the guys threw themselves around today. The catching was good. Diving around, Brandon King did a fantastic job.
Third man up inside the circle. We haven't got quite so many Bayesian fans in the stands. There's always that little bit of friction, isn't there, between the islands and the Barbados supporters, not particularly enjoying the fact that a Trinidadian is captain of the West Indies. And then you get the same in Port of Spain. Is that all light-hearted, or is that deadly serious, that rivalry?
I think it's more light-hearted. I think most guys support their country, very patriotic. So there's always going to be a little bit of conflict, but once you get the job done, that's all that's important.
Oh, beautifully done. Cheeky from Adil Rashid. Remember, playing shots like that would drive you absolutely insane in county cricket. And he's peeled off a beauty here at the Kensington Oval.
Yes, perfect placement. Caught the late dab. Just to the right of Shea Hope. And he finds himself a boundary.
Oh, Saqib wandering off out of his ground. Karen Pollard not missing a trick. Had the old bluebirds buzzing around Saqib Mahmood's head. He was miles away and miles out of his ground. Saqib avoids a collision, and Rashid will keep the strike. 95 for 8. 7 bowlers used by Corin Pollard, including himself, and they have all by and large been excellent. Rashid just evades the outstretched hand of the giant that is Jason Holder.
Good effort on Jason Holder. We all know how big his hands are. Not much goes past him, but Adi Rashid did very well there. Good effort though. Good effort there from Jason.
And the 100 comes up for England. Ironic cheers around Kensington Oval. And fielding sharp from Cottrell. And the travelling fans have enjoyed that. Might not have to bring the tables for dinner forward after all.
Love the ball there from Fabian. Deceiving Mahmood. Having a height there. Missed it. Good hands from Shea Hope.
Only figures. Cottrell's been bowled out. Who gets the last over for you here, Kima?
I think Pollard got the last one. He's done a fantastic job so far. Just bowling his 2 overs for 11 runs. I think he's earned himself to get a last over. Probably get himself a wicket as well. Give him a chance to bowl the team out.
So you're going with the captain. Jason Holder's got 2 for 6. Don't fancy him?
I guess it's rolls.
Man back at deep extra cover. Cut that one off. Rashid will keep the strike once more. He has 21 from 16. It's 102 for 8 with 1 to go. Well, hawking the local brew, and why wouldn't they be the score at 102 for 8? 1 over to go. It is Jason Holder. Slower ball swung away into the leg side. Think about 2, but again, pick up and release was very, very sharp out there.
Yes, you've called it. Jason gets the last over. Fantastic figures of 2 for 7 from his 3 overs. He'd love to finish here, probably get the last 2 wickets and probably end up with the best figures of his career.
Jason Holder, similar length to that he bowled with the new ball, but this time either a split-fingered or off-cutter slower ball. And the off-cutter completely deceives Mahmood.
The ball is gripping the pitch, huh? Very interesting.
2 pace, maybe. In the air. And gone. Jason Holder does the trick with the slower ball. The 9th wicket falls for England. It's Fabian Allen with the catch looking into the sunset. And West Indies have been almost faultless.
Yes, lovely catch. Once it goes near to Fabian Allen, you know you're going to be out. Fantastic hands, fantastic feeler. Jason gets his third. Saki Mahmood goes for 5 from 11 balls. And England is 103 for 9.
Knocked him over. Oh, that's brilliant. Jason Holder started things off with top order wickets. He's now cleaned up the tail. England dismissed with 2 deliveries of their allocated 20 overs left. Forgive me, it was Guyana Amazon Warriors. They lost to the Tridents in the final. He was very, very impressive in that tournament. And has yet to really stamp his authority on the top of the order for the West Indies. Would that be fair?
Fair comment. I'm a huge fan of Brandon King. Immense talent. Has some flair about him. Obviously coming from Jamaica.
Bit of bat on that, I think. And that'll run away for a boundary.
Good start there from West Indies. A little bit too straight there from Mahmood. Brandon got a good piece of battle in. Front leg is up. And they're off the mark for boundary.
Confusion. Required a direct hit, I think, from Dawson running in at mid-off. The West Indies don't need that.
They definitely don't. Well done by Shea Hope getting back into the crease. There's no need there for third umpire. I've heard good things about this Mahmood. What do you make of him, Butch?
Yeah, he's got some talent, that is for sure. Can bowl with good pace, not express, but quick enough. And at his best, will zero in on a top of off-stump line. Can make the older ball reverse swing. Got a talented young man who perhaps waiting his chance to make a splash at international level. Has ambitions to play in all 3 formats as well.
Fantastic length there from Mahmood.
There is something a little bit Wacko Yunus-like in the way that he loads up. And he will get the ball sometimes to sort of fade back into the top of off stump. A little bit like Wiki used to do back in the day.
Shea Hope about to face his first ball. I think it'll be interesting to see how he goes in this series. He's been fantastic for us in the one-day format. I'd love for him to get some runs into 20 format as well.
Another sharp single. I suppose the key for the West Indies, they don't have to take a massive amount of risks to chase this one down. And a relatively risk-free 6 from the first over. Chris Jordan will open the bowling from the Malcolm Marshall end. It's his fateful over that saw England lose that semi-final to New Zealand in the World T20. Got hit for 23 when it looked as though England had the game under control. And he's been greeted to the crease with a beautiful pull shot, just wide of mid-on. Terrific boundary for Shai Hope.
It's a fantastic start from Shai Hope. I thought he picked the length up very quickly, not allowing Jordan to settle. Pull that one wide of mid-on. And a small outfield here out of Kensington Oval. It races away to the boundary. Takes the score to 10 in the second over.
Been a line from Jordan, but nicely manoeuvred for a single by Hope. Jason Roy, I think, can hear us out there on the field.
Yeah,
Jason,
I got you.
have you got me?
I got you.
I suppose you weren't out there for long enough to get an idea of what was happening with the pitch yourself, but what was the feedback you were getting from the others?
Yeah, thanks for that. Nice one. The feedback was it was a bit slow. I think Jason's height was causing a few problems into the wicket there, and yeah, inconsistent bounce really. So who knows?
The ball did seem to fly through and carry forever from Jason Holder. I suppose wasn't quite what you guys had envisaged, having been asked to bat first.
No, mate. We had a practice wicket, the furthest one across that we've been using since we've been in. It's been beautiful. We've been at extra bounds, but it was relatively kind of consistent. And even that practice wicket was beautifully fat, and yeah, I don't know. It definitely was a surprise, and I mean we've scraped ourselves to 100, so see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a feeling in the dressing room clearly that you'd liked a few more, but has it given you any sort of a chance?
Yeah, obviously we want to do a few more. We'd like 150, a few more. That would have been nice, but
well, you always want 230, don't you?
We're kind of staring down the barrel of a pretty embarrassing total, really. But to get ourselves to 100, at least the bowlers got something to bowl to now, and a few early-ish wickets can change the game. So.
Oh, effortless.
Just got to do what we got to do, mate. But hopefully, it's a lot of pressure on the bowlers, isn't it? But we just got to keep it simple. They kept it very simple, I think, and banged the pitch hard and waited for that to react. So let's wait and see.
Okay. All right, Jason. Well, concentrate there. It's coming hot and heavy at you. We'll speak to you later.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Slight sense that Jason Roy wasn't all that happy with the way things have gone in the first innings, but thanks to him for talking to us anyway. 13 without loss. Well, no matter who's on top or who's winning, the party never stops here at Kensington Oval. There's that little bit of in shape from Saqib Mahmood that I was talking about.
Yeah, targeting the stumps. Always looking for that early wicket. I'm impressed so far with what I've seen. I think he has a great future in English colours.
Well, that's gone up in the air. Doesn't have the distance to go all the way and will plug just inside the boundary. I suppose you've been at situations like this yourself as a bowler where the batters have kind of not put a big enough score on the board. Is the temptation to run up and try and take a wicket every ball, or do you have to rein that in?
Definitely temptation there. Obviously, if not much runs on the board, you got to make a new ball count. So you can get a bit carried away in terms of attacking too much, and that can cause leaks when it comes to runs. So it's all about being patient, doing the right things for a longer period of time, and just being consistent. I think that's what England needs to do here.
I think one thing that is stark at the moment is the difference that Jason Holder's height has made. Both Jordan and Saqib are skiddier bowlers. Neither of them have made the ball kick and bounce in the same way that Jason Holder did. Saqib just moving his fine leg. Tamar Mills a little bit squarer. Maybe a short ball coming. Double bluff has been pinged away in front of square off the pads of Shai Hope. Beautiful timing.
Lovely shot. It's a lovely shot. I'm really enjoying the intent by the opening batters. Doesn't seem to me any shy of confidence. They're running well. They're being aggressive. And that's how you start the 20 games, the 20 innings. So let's see how long they carry on and chase down this modest total.
Well, no alarms thus far for West Indies openers. King and Hope have knocked off almost a fifth of the total. And we're still in the third over.
I'm loving the way Shai started. He has a very good record here at the Oval. Enjoys batting at this facility, so.
Well, close, but no cigar for Mahmood. 19 without loss. .85 from 102. Rate already down at 5 and over. And Owen Morgan will ring the changes. No change out of Chris Jordan and Saqib Mahmood so far. So it's going to be spin. Adil Rashid, he and Moeen Ali caused West Indies no end of trouble in the encounter in the World Cup in the UAE. Shoe is almost on the other foot there. Bowled West Indies out for 55, and at one point it looked as though England might suffer a similar fate. Slip in place, still inside the power play, of course. So 2 men back, long off, and deep mid wicket.
Single off the first ball, off of Rashid's over. I'd like to see how the batsman will cope with Rashid. The West Indies have a problem with batting wrist spin, and
Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
it's common, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys go with Rashid in the power play.
Both ways here, Russia. Both ways here, Russia.
Again, West Indies by dint of their excellent bowling with the new ball, were able to hold Akil Hussain back until the power play was over. They already had 4 Englishmen back in the hutch by then. But Owen Morgan being forced to force things with Rashid in the power play. Gets away with one.
Good intent. When chasing a modest total, obviously you want to get a good start so you can cruise home in the middle. And I think Hope and King has done fantastically so far.
Aye, Paul! Jay! Brilliant, Jay! Brilliant, Jay! Brilliant boy! On that disc, Dawes.
Field change here. Maybe kick goes to backward square.
Oh, gets a long way across his stumps, and I think that's going to be leg byes. It clipped the top flap of King's pad, yep, and it's been given leg byes. Billings didn't get a chance to get anything on it, missed the stumps. And everything going West Indies' way, and you can't say they don't deserve it.
Oh, yes. Across the stumps. Off the sweep. Missed the ball completely. Off to the point for 4 byes.
In goes leg side. I wonder if King picked that. Faces a lot of spin over in Guyana. But at the end of the over, 7 runs from it from Rashid. 26 without loss. Sir Gary. He's still playing off scratch, probably. Comparison after 4 overs is that there's no comparison. Well, spin at both ends from England. And Morgan having to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Might actually be something bigger than a rabbit required here. Some sort of large marsupial to try and get England back into this one. Dawson with his left arm spin. No slip.
Eyeball. Heavy rush.
Oh, batters in the middle of the crease. Both standing in the middle of the pitch, but no harm done.
Miscommunication there. But good to see Joffa offer around. Coming to support this English team.
Come on, little run out here, lads. Little run out here to start us
Yeah,
off.
a couple of Bayesians in this England side.
Catch!
Down the ground, but to land just short. James Vince at long off.
Brilliant, Dorsey. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Just a bit.
Good intent there from Brandon King. Using his feet
Dorsey.
in the ball. Very flat and hard to long off. As you said, well fielded by James Vince.
Come on, straight up here, boys. Eyeball.
Well, there's that turn and bounce. See a little bit of that from Akil Hussain.
Yeah, Dorsey, boy.
You can't help but think if England had another 30-odd runs, that this might be a trickier chase for the West Indies.
Oh, Dorsey.
I'm still surprised that spin has been a threat at the Oval. I remember series against Australia not too long ago, and the ball spun a lot, very low scoring games, and it came under criticism from the West Indies skipper. Not much has changed, eh?
Yeah, surface certainly, although it did afford some bounce and carry with that brand new ball, mainly in the hands of Jason Holder. Surface did have that sort of slightly subcontinental look to it on the top. King again looking to open up the leg side by moving across his stumps, not making contact. And at the end of 5 overs, West Indies are 28 without loss.
Adil Rashid will continue. His first ball was out of the front of the hand, as he sometimes does in his previous over.
Hit me, Barry!
There is some help in the surface. How's it looked so far, Steve Harmison?
Yeah, England were desperate for a breakthrough, but so far so good for the West Indies. Owen Morgan's gone to the spin because it seems that the surface, just sitting in the surface, he needs a wicket, and he's gone to his trump card, which is normally gets some for him, and that's Adil Rashid.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing about leg spin. The West Indies didn't play their leg spinner Hayden Walsh Jr. today, but good to have him back, I think, after he was diagnosed with that virus again. And he'll play a part. They've invested in him, but it's the ability to turn the ball in each direction in this format. Because you almost always have to go hard as a batter. Young batters will say, I'm not looking to read the direction of a spin or the hand, I'm just looking for it in my zone. So where there's each way movement, in this case a googly, young batters in this format sometimes struggle.
Yeah, and that's what Adil Rashid's been so good at for England, and bowling in pressure situations and at pressure times, but normally that time is 15, 17, 19 overs in a T20 match, and that's the go-to for Owen Morgan. But the thing about this situation is the West Indies don't really have to take too many risks.
Brandon King's going to be aggressive anyway. 37 without loss.
There's a fantastic shot here. Adil Rashid just thrown it above the eye line. I mentioned earlier that West Indies don't need to take a risk, but Brandon King doesn't play that way. If it's in his area and in his slot, like that was, he's going to see the ball and hit the ball.
Yeah, leg spin has been predominant. 7 wrist spinners in the top 10 of T20 international rankings. Left arm finger spinners also have made their mark. What about, since we're outside of the power play now, Tymal Mills, now that he's fit again?
I think Tymal Mills will bowl from the media centre end. I think we've seen with the bounce that Jason Holder got from that end. I think that's what Morgan will be looking for. Mills to take the handbrake off, bowl as quickly as he possibly can. Be aggressive into length, but also be aggressive towards the batsman. I think he's just getting outside. Managed to get himself outside off stump, but I think Mills, he has to come on now. It's now or never for the England captain, Owen Morgan. He has to pick up wickets if he wants to stay in this game or have any chance to take the game deep. And Tamal Mills is a wicket-taking bowler.
Taking the ball away generally from the right-hander, the eye line, or in the case of a left-hander, statistically has better value.
Down, Dorsey.
There are times when coming into certain batsmen makes an impact, but overall, if you can take the ball outside the eye line, because most batsmen look to score down the ground or onside, most, not all, it has value.
Right up there.
Not giving Hope any room. In fact, Brandon King.
No room at all given by Liam Dawson, and he's a different bowler to Akeal Hossain. We've seen in the first half, seen a ball earlier. You watch the seam position here, it's going sideways. So that means the ball's going to go back, on towards the pads, where Akeal Hossain, the trajectory of the seam is a little bit more over the top, which will give you a little bit more drift, but will make the ball spin, it'll make the ball turn. And I think that's the difference between Hossain and Dawson.
Catch!
7 overs gone, 41 without loss. Number 1 team, England. Australia in the middle of the pack, but they're defending T20 world champions. And West Indies will have to play in that not qualifying round, but that first round in the next T20 World Cup. Tamal Mills into the attack. He's one of the guys that is an X factor in the game. Hard lengths, a heavy ball into the surface. Good change of pace as well.
Beautiful time shot there into the leg side, and that's what Tamal Mills brings. He brings pace. You mentioned the change-ups that he's got. That's what brings the danger with Mills. He can bowl a ball in and around 90, 92 mile an hour at the batsman's head, but he can change up the back of the hand, or a split finger slower ball, which can be around about 70, 75 mile an hour in and around the off stump. So he's so difficult to face, but once you get in, and you can use the pace if he doesn't get it quite right.
Yeah, good one. And they'll have done their research. Chris Jordan and many of the English players know Shai Hope's game. Shai Hope knows several of them. So you'll use your stock ball. I think that might have disturbed the pitch a bit. And the other thing you can use against Hope, everyone knows, is the short ball.
Yeah, and that's what I would imagine Mills and Morgan and Jordan, who is standing right next to Tamal Mills at this moment in time, giving him a little bit of guidance, a little bit of encouragement, but also be telling him hard into length or be aggressive. Be aggressive. It is time. England need you to be aggressive, Tamal Mills. And
Darren Sammy, when he worked with us last week, he talked about having played with CJ, Chris Jordan, and Jordan's value as a senior bowler, very senior bowler, standing at mid-on, because Jordan knows the game very well, passing on that advice and that know-how to the incumbent bowler.
It is so important, and Jordan is a well-experienced, well-travelled, especially on different surfaces, and what needs to be done. And for me, that's what makes Chris Jordan so valuable to this side, and so valuable to Owen Morgan, that because of the experience, not only on surfaces, but you see here again, it's out the back of the hand, so you've seen the seam position. The batsman thinks, you know, because the seam position's coming down straight, he's thinking 90 mile an hour, but it's not, it's at 72, 73, so that's what makes Tamil Mills very, very dangerous.
Eludes Chris Jordan, and very uncharacteristic. Jordan is usually an excellent fielder. That wasn't his best work.
No, he'll be disappointed that he didn't pull that back and save 2 runs for England. But I think King, he's hanging back, he's waiting for that short ball. He's thinking, right, there's not much pace in this surface. If I get one at a decent lick and a good bit of pace, if I hang back, it's going to sit up. If it's in and around that good length, use the angle to go into the leg side. Good shot there by Brandon King. Pressure on Tamil Mills.
Man going back to long on. He's a good touch player, Brandon King. Times the ball well at his best, 48 without loss. West Indies was superb with the ball. Jason Holder finishing with 4 for 7, but I think generally all round the West Indian bowling group, and some of their fielding too, led by their captain, was exceptionally good. Sharp, committed, and has given them a really good chance of achieving an outcome positively in this game. The game is funny, so still another 56 required. I think it was the keeper. I'm not sure if it was the keeper. Someone was saying to Tamil Mills, watch the spin. Watch the spin as it went down to it.
Yeah, it was a keeper. It was Sam Billen saying, watch the spin. No 45 in play. So Mills is a little bit straighter than what you would normally have out at deep square leg. He's now got 45 in play as Liam Dawson. You're talking about spin. The reason why that shot came about because Liam Dawson's not really spinning it.
Catch that. Hit me, Barry. Hit me, Barry.
I think there's 50 up there for the West Indies. 8.2 overs, no wickets down. Owen Morgan scratching his head, not sure where he's gonna turn next. And I think 2 things that I've noticed in this 28 overs that has gone so far in this match. Not much going for England here, just going past the stumps. But the West Indies' ability to time the ball better than England's batsmen, and also the energy in the field that the West Indies have had. I thought the energy in the field, from the fielding, just the all-round ground fielding was fantastic, which backed the bowlers up. I think England has been a little bit sloppier, but also the way the West Indies have timed the ball much better than the way England's batsmen did.
Oh, bowling! Hit me!
Whoops. Gets there. Yeah. I think you're defending 103, so you're prone to trying, as you know, as a bowler, you're prone to trying things, and batting unit knows what they have to go at. The one thing I'd like to see are pitches for the upcoming games that are more reliable or dependable, more true.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think when you play on, when white ball's played, I think the pitches need to be the best surfaces possible. As a fast bowler, I pains to say this. King just lost his shape a little bit. I think he was hurried there a touch, but it pains me to say this, but I want the best surface possible. I want 6s and 4s. I want entertainment. I want the pitches in Test match cricket to have a little bit more juice in them, a little bit more of a contest between bat and ball. But for me, they've got to be the best surfaces possible.
We can have a dichotomy and speak from both sides of the fence as bowlers. We won't complain. 52 without loss. I'm happy to see crowds back. Really gives it a great atmosphere. For so many tournaments we've done, Steve, as you're very aware of, I know it's different now in the UK, but we've been in bubbles, strict bubbles. Many times fans are not allowed, and so seeing the outside world for us here in our managed environment is like utopia for me.
I can only imagine, Bish. I've done it small sample size, nothing anywhere near you have. You've had it.
Brilliant. Brilliant length, ripping the leg spinner, and hope reached in vain.
It's what we haven't seen from Adil Rashid. He's bowled a lot of googlies, a lot of top spinners. Ball going towards the pad. This one, an absolute beauty. Look at that seam position, drifting towards Shai Hope's leg stump. Broke the service, takes just past the outside edge, and a quick bit of work by Sam Billings. Shai Hope goes for a well-made 20. The West Indies 52 for 1.
Time for the Blue Waters drinks break as well. Oh, lovely to be here in Barbados once again, and we have had the opportunity to visit the coastal areas. A lot of surfing in the aquamarine waters, swimming, water sports. Brilliant place to come on vacation. But it's work time for the players. Value of leg spin. Every one of the top 6 or 7 teams in the world have an excellent wrist spin, I should say. Puran off the mark straight away.
Yeah, busy. Good start from Puran. Busy. When you see this wicket, look at the seam position. That position, it's the revolutions on that, drifting towards the leg stump, broken the surface. It's an absolute beauty from the leg spinner. Just overbalanced. Managed. Billings, quick hands, take the stumps.
Walk with his broom today. The thing to look at for young cricketers, look at the revolutions on the ball. The old school people will tell you that's one of the things you look at. If you can't pick the hand, yes, it disturbs the surface. Look at the ball as it comes down spinning towards you to give you an early inclination as to how you have to play. But in this format, it's much more difficult to do that because you're so intent on putting the ball away. You're looking for the landing area rather than the revolutions of the ball or how the hand positions at release.
Absolutely, and that's why Owen Morgan uses Adil Rashid in the latter parts of T20 when the chase is on and teams are looking at 12 and over, 10, 12, 13 and over. That's why Adil Rashid's so important for England back end, but needs must when you only got a total of 104. He's not looking to contain, he's actually now looking to get wickets, and we see here, new batsman on strike, and Moeen Ali in at slip.
Good again, the length is so good. 4 to 5 meters, 5.5 meters is an area where you can't get to it and you may have to sweep because you're not clear which way it's spinning.
But what you also have is the revolutions on the ball make you, because they're drifting in towards a right-hander's leg stump, you can overbalance because you think, right, I'm going to hit it on the leg side. Then you turn the face, and that means you overbalance, and well, that's what we've seen in the last wicket there, and Sam Billings taking a stumping.
I catch it.
Just short. Successful over though for Rashid, 57 for 1.
Well, halfway point, England have their breakthrough. But they could do with 4 or 5 more, in all honesty. West Indies 47 from 60. And totally bossing this first Betway T20 International.
They're going for the spinner here. Dawson trying to get himself another wicket, create some more pressure on the West Indians, but I think Puran's at home here. Pretty good player to spin, and he looks very confident the way he started his innings so far.
It's interesting that the way the modern game has evolved. You hear a lot of talk about matchups, and very often captains won't have a left-arm spinner go anywhere near bowling at a left-handed batter.
But as we alluded from earlier, there's a strong breeze coming from east to west, so if Dawson bowling from the Joe Garner end, inviting Puran to hit the ball over to the Pakistan, which is the eastern side of the country, give yourself a chance. It's pretty big over there in terms of the wind factor, so it'll be interesting to see if it goes or not.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, there are so many different factors, aren't there, in terms of conditions. The wind being one that sometimes gets overlooked. If you are trying to hit a big shot into a very stiff breeze, you can come unstuck even if you hit it well. Pooran does strike at 172 against left arm spin, so he's relatively comfortable, but interesting. See if he has a go. See if he takes on that wind out towards the party stand.
He's brought his broom with him. I guess that tells that the ball is spinning and he wants to rotate the strike as much as he can, so he's putting out the sweep. Didn't make contact on that last one.
Tidy over from Dawson. A breakthrough that England desperately need, not forthcoming though. 3 runs from it, 60 for 1. Dominant stuff from the West Indies. Jason Holder with a career best in T20 cricket, not just in internationals, of 4 for 7. He was magnificent with the new ball and finished things off with the old. There was turn for Keel Hussain. And Owen Morgan turns for the first time to Moeen Ali. Left-handed Pooran perhaps in his thoughts. Downwind hit against the spin now towards the western side of the ground. Goes on the reverse and ball just escapes Saqib Mahmood, who saves a boundary.
Yes, good to see Moeen into attack. Obviously, Ian Morgan is looking for a wicket here, bringing the off spinner to the left-handed attacking Pooran. And we all know Moeen has a pretty much golden arm when it comes to this format and getting the wicket.
Brilliant! Brilliant! Barry, that's yours,
Good hustle from Owen Morgan, preventing a second. Just don't have to take any risks here, really, do they? The West Indies 30 from 33 for King. Rates down below 5 runs and over. And the only thing they can do, I suppose, is allow England somehow back into the contest with a bit of reckless running or a poor shot. Otherwise, it's just cruise all the way home.
Yeah, totally. Smart cricket. Good running between the wickets as he hits this one down to low on and jogs through for a single. Throw back into the keeper. I think they just have to be simple in their approach in finishing this innings. They're cruising here after 11 overs. They're 64 for 1.
I catch that.
In a grip from Moeen Ali.
Brilliant here, Mo.
Not over till it's over.
Come on, boys. Wicket now.
It's interesting, again, the approach of the West Indies has been talked about a lot in T20 cricket.
Catch!
I suppose the vintage T20 sides, it was all about boundary count. There was a lot of talk about them rotating strike more in the previous World Cup. They rotated the strike a tiny bit more, but hit less boundaries, and all of that meant they lost 4 out of 5 games.
Catch!
We all know West Indians are strong gentlemen. Love to attack the boundaries, love to attack the crowds, but score right now, 6-7 for 1 after 12 overs.
Now, schedule for these 5 T20 internationals, 5 Betway T20 internationals, all of them to be played here at the world famous Kensington Oval here in Barbados. Doubleheader this weekend, doubleheader next weekend, and the match on Wednesday evening splits them. Chris Jordan back into the attack, switching to the Joel Garner end. Morgan trying to find an answer. Slam down the ground. Oh, that's a violent stroke from Nicholas Pourant.
Pure power. Quick hands to the ball, taking up a length very quickly, and slapping that one past mid-on before. Lovely shot.
Well, England posted 103, and the main reason behind that was what happened in the power play. Sheldon Cottrell rearranging Jason Roy's furniture with that full pitch delivery. Beautiful outswinger taken at slip by Nicholas Pourant. Moeen Ali came and went the very next ball. Jason Holder again, the wrecker. Darren Bravo held on to a sharp chance at point. England had lost 24 for 4 in the power play.
I thought that's what definitely broke the camel's back, the way England started.
All these fans have come out here hoping to dispel the pain and woe of the Ashes, thinking that they'd come out and watch the white ball team and they'd smash it all over the place. And they're just as miserable as the poor fans that were in Australia.
And I'll counter that and say all the fans in Barbados are miserable with the Ireland series that they just concluded, West Indies just concluded. And it's good to see West Indies in favour in this first T20.
No, it certainly keeps what makes the series interesting, doesn't it? England will want to bounce back, presuming that they don't get up in this one. And I think also I did 1 or 2 interviews on my way out here before I flew out on Wednesday, and people were saying, oh well, you know, England should batter the West Indies. Like, hey, we've never been out there to play. It doesn't matter how bad they are. When England turn up in the West Indies turn up to play, and that's certainly been the case this evening.
The ball with CJ attacking the sticks. Full and straight. Causing Brandon King to come down hard on that one. But yeah, you're right. When England come over to the Caribbean, I think the players just up their game a little bit. Old rivalry, going back years and years before myself. And you always want to defend home ground. You always do.
Of course, Barbados, a new republic as well last November. 75 for 1. Well, 6 bowlers used by Owen Morgan. In truth, easy to turn around and look at the bowlers and say, well, you know, quite got things right, weren't quite as incisive as Jason Holder. However, when you're only defending 104, life is not easy as a bowler. Tamal Mills, 1 over has cost 7 so far. He's going to attack from the Malcolm Marshall end, around the wicket. Oh, that's been beautifully put away. He's got a touch of class as Brandon King.
As I alluded before, huge fan of this guy. I think he has a lot to offer for West Indies cricket, and you can see there from that shot. Waiting on it, in the square behind point, and go to the point for 4.
Yeah, 27-year-old Jamaican. Orthodox, but he's got a lot of power, a lot of time against the quicker bowlers.
Good running. Steer that one behind point. Good dive and stop there. And they got through for 1. I think this is Morgan's last push, trying to disrupt the West Indians and going to his quickest bowler in Tamal Mills, who left the World Cup with injury. It's good to see him back in England colours.
Yeah, interesting you mentioned that. England's sort of World Cup campaign went into reverse. They lost Jason Roy, didn't they, in the match against South Africa. Tamal Mills then limped off, and things lost their momentum for Ian Morgan's men during that World Cup then. Beautiful back of the hand slow from Mills. But 5-match series, all is not lost for England, should they lose this first one. So look at West Indies against the quicker bowlers. Short bowlers gone the journey. I suppose looking at that, the blue deliveries, the groupings haven't been quite as consistent as they were for West Indies with the new ball. But again, excusable, I think, when you have such a small total on the board.
You're correct. 2 early wickets obviously brings a sense of comfort as a bowler, having not to do much, just be consistent, let the pitch do the work for you. And I thought the West Indians did that fantastically in the first inning. So England on the pump now. I just said it's one of the first one. It's going to be an interesting series, sure.
Now, decent views from all round Kensington Oval, none better than on the beach. Jet ski there. Sure, how much use you're going to have for that? Unless we get some sort of England saving downpour. 81 for 1. Win or lose, always the same here, watching cricket in the Caribbean. Just fantastic sense of occasion and fun. Adil Rashid into his final over.
Come on, Barry!
And that'll be at least a couple.
Smooth sailing now for the West Indies, it seems. No urge of a rash shot. Put this in panic. They turn it around, turn it over to singles, and they'll be fine.
Front of the hand, it's hit Poran outside the line and leg stump, I think. Not even going to go for a consolation review. England, both West Indies and England have a couple left. But, yeah, nothing doing.
Rushing his last over, trying his full quarter tricks, but it seems to be very smooth at this point.
Well, I had a couple of messages from some friends around the Caribbean who, even at the halfway point, having bowled England out for 103, saying they were slightly nervous about this run, Jay.
Slightly nervous.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, I wasn't feeling that at all. From my point of view, couldn't see how England would defend this total. I think perhaps they were a little bit slow to adapt to the bounce of Holder with the new ball in the power play. One of those occasions, perhaps, when they go back in the dressing room, they'll be thinking to themselves, you know, could we have assessed things quicker, maybe seen off the onslaught and the power play and look to try and get ourselves to 130, 140 as par.
Catch it!
Things are always very easy in hindsight, and they happen very, very quickly for real. 85 for 1.
Jamal Mills. A pace-off delivery where he's one of those very quick bowlers who doesn't depend on the Yorker per se. If he were put into a situation at the back end, he's more of a hard length pace off the ball, different in that regard to maybe a Jofra Archer put in a position bowling end of the innings. Has had his history, Steve Harmison, as you well know, of back injuries.
Yeah, he needs batsmen to come at him a little bit. I think he needs the situation where players are coming, batsmen are coming at him, so the change-ups are dangerous, but also he's got the pace up his sleeve as well.
Yeah, our analyst, who doesn't miss much, said that he bowled 61% short at the back end of the innings. So he's found his own method. It's not for everyone. Romario Shepherd, for instance, would go Yorker, pace off. Jason Holder, pace off and into the pitch, the odd Yorker. But every West Indian fan, Steve, and Nicholas Puran's point of view would want to see him elevate his status as the heir apparent of West Indies T20 batting going forward, maybe 50 over batting. They want to see 2022 be a stamp of authority on his career.
Yeah, and he had his struggles in the IPL at Kings 11 in this last round of IPL. This innings will do him the world of good, especially if he's still there at the end, because he has had a struggle in this innings. He struggled to time it, he struggled with his decision making, his foot movement, but if he's still there at the end, it'll give him a huge amount of confidence.
And for Brandon King as well, if I may just give another perspective, both players have come through the under-19 World Cups and the age group pathways. So Brandon King for me is one that I was looking forward to have test matches under his belt already, because he's a touch player. He had that great 2019, as you heard from our previous commentators, but fell away after that and got back into the series in the Pakistan tour. A rare Yorker from Timal Mills. So I think it's about, for a lot of young West Indian batsmen, Steve, and we'll talk more about it, understanding their game, understanding game situations, how to pace the innings, being technically proficient. Because Kemar Roach said West Indian batsmen are good power hitters, but game has moved on.
The game has moved on, and I think that's the beauty about the Brandon King innings in this game so far, that he's played the situation brilliantly, fantastically well. He hasn't tried to hit the ball too hard. He hasn't really lost his shape. He's hit the ball into the gaps nicely. It helps when you haven't got a massive total to chase. I'm surprised they didn't take him to the World T20 in the UAE. The end of the 16th over, West Indies are 91 for 1.
Just another 13. Yeah, I think though that with Brandon, after that 2019 season, he got into West Indies colours, but he didn't really cement his place. And for the next couple of seasons domestically in T20, wasn't good at all. But they just ran out of options because of poor performances, and had a punt taking him to Pakistan once again after a poor CPL, and he somewhat delivered. Good for him because he's potentially a good player, but the numbers need to be more consistently better.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, Bish, you have to take a punt on somebody and then give him the 10, 12 games to work it out, especially in the middle.
Such a top shot. High quality.
You watch Nicholas Pooran's first 6 balls of this innings, and you would think he was batting right-handed. Never mind a very, very talented left-handed batsman there. And this is the beauty about just sticking in there, hanging in there, being able to get through tough periods, especially against yourself, and you can produce a shot like that. Wasn't a bad ball by any stretch of the imagination. Used the pace, didn't try and hit it too hard. Fantastic shot there by Nicholas Pooran.
Brilliant! Brilliant, Bowie!
It's great to see Sheldon Cottrell back into the West Indies 11 as well. When he's fit and at his best, he offers value. Lovely. Gap finding was excellent. Takes King to 49.
Yeah, beautiful shot here. He just waited on it. Slower ball by Saqib Mahmood. It just sat in the sat in the surface. You see there, he just rolls his fingers across the seam, sat in the surface and just sat up. And a man who's been in for 46 balls is not going to miss out with that. Somebody else has had a good afternoon there. Out on the beach, on the stand. Not long left now in this game. Beautiful 4 there by Brandon King.
That'll be 50 for Brandon King. In the circumstances, a well-composed knock, his second in T20 internationals. And responding well with the bat since coming back into the team last December.
It seems the longer you spend on this surface, the easier it becomes to bat and time the ball on. He's timed it beautifully. He's hit 4 fours in 1-6, 47 balls and a beautiful 50 for Brandon King.
Front of cricketing royalty with Sir Garfield Sobers positioned up in the corporate box. Weeks Worrell, Walcott stand. .50 partnership comes up, so an efficient job between two still up-and-coming players.
What sort of confidence does this give the West Indies going forward, Bish? You know, first game of the series, 50 partnership for the second wicket by 2 players who you want to do well, you expect to do well against the best team in the world.
It'll help a lot, especially after the loss to Ireland, the disappointing T20 World Cup, losing 3 games in Pakistan. Everything here is a building block going forward. We'll come back to that. 103 for 1, scores level. Yeah, just see a point. I think what West Indian fans, okay, let's not talk about West Indian fans. What the coaching department would want to see is these wonderfully talented young players turn up with their A game, their effort. That's what you can control, your effort every game going forward. You lose some, you're playing the #1 team in the world. Who knows where the results will go? But heading to the World Cup, just turn up prepared, give the effort, keep thinking about the game, because today they were superb, and then see where that leads you.
Yeah, and I think they were like that. They had that in abundance. You know, you mentioned effort. That's something you can't coach. That's not talent or anything like that. That is diving around in the field, giving yourself some buzz, backing your bowlers up if they're hitting the right areas. And I thought that's what the West Indies did especially well in the first innings.
It's what has brought the West Indies victory here in this opening T20 international of this series. A solid knock by Brandon King, given the conditions, supported by Puran, and a win for the West Indies here at Kensington Oval.